to the interwebs. We are live from the AWS Santa Clara Summit in the middle of the expo hall, as you can see by the thousands of people behind me. We're here to recap the keynote for you. My name is Nikki. These are my co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, Twitch. I'm Robert. I'm on the evangelism team here at AWS, and I'm the co-host with the worst jokes.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick. I'm also on the evangelism team here, and when I'm not here at the summit floor, I'm helping host some of our other Twitch shows. So excited to be here.
Streaming on Twitch.
Hi everybody, my name is Randall Hunt. I'm a software engineer and technical evangelist here at Amazon Web Services.
Wow, that's the first time I heard you say your full title.
Yeah, no, I didn't have the senior.
Oh, you added the senior. It's impressive.
Yeah. There's something different about you, Nikki.
There's something different?
Yeah, I can't quite tell what it is.
I'm gonna let you guys guess. Can anybody tell what's different about me in this moment?
You look about 5, 6, 7 inches taller. How'd that happen?
Standing on a box, you guys. Jesus. You want to call it out? Thank you
But it
very
looks
much.
good.
It's just
I
all the
think it looks
camera
great.
angles, Randall.
I'm very happy to be standing on this box right now. It's giving me like 7 more inches of height. This is what it would normally look like. Back on the box. All right, let's get to the real meat of this conversation. What happened in the keynote, guys?
A lot.
A lot. Very descriptive. Anything specific we want to call out? Like, I'd say the first couple of things Werner talked about with the quotes were really interesting. So one of them was, if you missed the keynote, if you didn't miss the keynote, and you don't want to hear us banter, go get a coffee or something, come back in like 15 minutes. But if you want to hear it, 95% of our features and services come directly from customer feedback. I think that's a really important thing to call out that he mentioned.
Yeah, we have this slogan here that we are customer obsessed, right? And so we really like to take what the customer wants and work backwards from there to be able to provide the best solution possible for them. And that's not just talk, right? By having 95% of our features built in that way, we really walk the walk as well.
Pop quiz. How many people are here today?
I know the answer. 6,500.
Look at you. A+.
Well, you can't discount Twitch chats there too.
Twitch is
so add
included.
another, 2,000
That's right.
in the audience.
So it's like 7K
Yeah.
watching.
Exactly.
So let's get into the meat of things. What were your favorite aspects of the keynote today? What were your favorite aspects of some of the recent announcements?
It's going to be the deep learning containers for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think while we have a lot of API services that enable out-of-the-box and turnkey usage for machine learning, one of the biggest challenges is being able to just get off the ground with your environment. And deep learning containers are really going to enable users to start training their own custom models using either TensorFlow or MXNet.
I think it's also really cool that they run on EKS, ECS, Kubernetes by itself. Like, they support all environments right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think the Redshift announcements are especially interesting, and we're going to dive into that in more detail later on throughout the day. So anything that we mentioned here, if you check the schedule, we're going to probably be talking a little bit more about it later on.
He also gave a business update. If you missed it, we have a 29.7 billion run rate now. I'm actually curious.
May as well call it 30.
Yeah, that's close enough.
I'm actually curious, Randall. You've been here a long time. Like, what was it like way back when, like to now?
Way back when was less than 5 years ago, really. So, well,
That fast?
as I'm sure you know, we were probably the fastest enterprise IT company to reach a $10 billion run rate. So by the time that I joined, it was already a pretty successful business. And it was one of the things that I liked is one of the things that attracted me, one of the reasons I wanted to come work here was it was very customer obsessed. It was very customer focused, whereas a lot of other products are kind of built in ivory towers or in isolation. I found that the AWS approach, or maybe the Amazon approach to things, was to actually go out and talk to customers, solicit feedback from them, and turn it into actionable insights to build new services, to build new features. And then in terms of the number of services that you had to know about back in, say, 2010,
Was way less.
I guess it's important. I've actually been a customer of AWS when I worked at NASA, and also a customer of AWS when I worked at MongoDB and at SpaceX. And
So for like almost a decade now.
yeah, I've got like a decade of AWS experience, and I've got to say, it used to be a lot easier to remember everything. So
How do you feel about it now?
it's not possible for me to remember everything anymore. So I have to rely on experts like yourselves to kind of keep everything in order.
And we came into that environment. We also find it difficult.
Yeah.
One of the really interesting things is, S3 was one of the first services that we launched.
Yeah.
And we kept developing it. And because this is kind of the nature of APIs actually, is when you have an API as the entry point for your service, you can change the entire backend. You can rewrite the whole service. And so long as your API stays compliant, you can make performance improvements and all these other features without ever affecting customers. So you don't have to, that was one of the things that Werner talked about today. So there was a popular memo in 2001 where we switched from monoliths to microservices.
Yep.
And S3, I think originally was only 8 or so microservices, and today it's running on 200 plus.
65, I think, 335.
Yeah.
Some incredible number over 200.
The other really cool thing about that is when you have that many different microservices, it unlocks a lot of development potential because you can develop each one in isolation and you can continuously deploy. And the only time that I've personally found issues around that is when you have to do database migrations with multiple different microservices depending on them. And even then, so long as you're doing a blue-green deploy or some other technique, you can still get that out there without customers ever knowing you've just added this huge new feature.
That's true. After he talked about S3, he actually announced that Glacier Deep Archive, which we announced at reInvent, went GA today. So I think that's a good shout out that happened.
The kind of unification of storage classes is very good too, because the way the S3 APIs worked previously was you would have a Glacier API, you would have an S3 API, and it made some of the code that you would write to integrate with both of those a little cumbersome, just because you would have to load in 2 different clients and interact with them and pass object names around. Now it's all through this S3. It's essentially another storage tier of S3.
Yep.
And another thing I'm really glad Werner called out is that you don't get this stuff for free. We're along this for the ride. He explicitly called out that when you adopt a microservice architecture or you're going with serverless functions, there's a learning curve and there is cost to that infrastructure. And it's so important to make sure that the culture of the company is on board with that. And
That's right.
all the showcases where we had our customers on stage today really highlighted that. That's what I really liked about it. It's a story from the inside, and it really resonates with me.
Well, which customer was your favorite?
Well, I think the Ellie Mae, the story there about their projected savings, that was really cool. And then just kind of seeing, like, hey, yeah, we also run hackathons, and it was really great to see how we can get our teams working more closely together, developing this kind of cloud-first mindset, this cloud-native mindset. That was really encouraging to me.
It was also crazy to hear that they have 5,000 developers innovating on their platform every day. So if you're not familiar with Ellie Mae, they built a platform for mortgages. So for buyers, lenders, people that are looking for a mortgage, and they have 5,000 developers working on their platform, innovating it every single day. I think that's incredible.
Yeah. To add on to that, I think one of the most interesting parts about that is it's not just a technological shift, right? It's an organizational shift, the shift from monoliths to microservices. And so you can change your code, but ultimately, a lot of the time, you need to actually change your organizational structure to support the new way that you're architecting this. And they said that while it was tough in the beginning, ultimately they were able to see huge gains in agility and cost savings in the long term by being able to perform that shift.
I was in Italy yesterday talking with a company
Just yesterday, huh?
Yes.
You're not like jet lagged or anything.
Not at all.
Great.
I was speaking with a company called Enel, and they've gone fully into the cloud. And this is a giant multinational utility company with 60,000 employees and a tremendous amount of IoT and traditional legacy deployments. They're 60 years old. And when you talk about that organizational change, they've undertaken that. So they've moved from project teams into product teams, and they've got a lot of ownership in the DevOps space. And so they're not just focused on this single, let's build the project and then we ship it off to the site reliability engineers and it's their problem now. Worked fine in prod. Worked fine in dev. It's prod.
So I think what's really interesting is previously we've heard like Jeff Bezos speak in regards to Amazon and say, the important question to ask is not what's going to change in the next 10 years, but what's not going to change in the next 10 years. And we haven't really heard this conversation in regards to AWS. So what do you guys think is not going to change in the next 10 years? Like, I would say that, developers are going to continue want to focus on business logic and not infrastructure and ops. Like, that is not going to change.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I think a really solid additional example is machine learning. it is here to stay.
It is here to
and
stay.
while its utilization is only going to increase, ultimately companies that aren't buying in now are seeing themselves sort of lagging behind their competitors that are doing so.
Yep.
And we love customer choice here, right? So we understand that every company doesn't have the ability to leverage machine learning, bare building blocks, right? So
Yep.
we have these out-of-the-box turnkey solutions via an API, and that enables
Those are my
customers
favorite.
to be able to just get started and access the ability and the benefits of machine learning
Without
having to-
actually having the skills.
Exactly, and talking about organizational structure before, starting a data science team and really like making that a first-class citizen at your company. Expensive, takes time, a lot of esoteric knowledge. APIs as a service are really just like one of the easiest ways to get started with that.
Yeah, Matt Wood said, we just want to make machine learning boring. Just another tool in your tool chest, which is a true fact. Those APIs are really helping even me get started on machine learning.
What are some of those APIs?
Yeah, so we have something
for it.
definitely. We have
Shout 'em out.
something for everyone. So we have transcribe that enables you to take text and convert it or speech and convert it to text. We have poly, take text, convert it to speech. Translate, give it an initial and target language, it'll translate for you. Comprehend, you can understand the sentiment of a given text passage. So is it neutral, positive, negative? Recognition, which enables you to analyze an image using computer vision, draw all sorts of conclusions from it, like object detection in it, bounding boxes,
Celebrity detection.
Shameless
celebrity
plug.
detection.
Nick, where can you see code examples of all those services in use?
Yeah, so Nikki and I actually gave a talk on this not too long ago at ByteConf, an online conference. We have a repo at your GitHub. What's your GitHub name again?
My GitHub name is the same as my Twitch name, so
All right, Nikki will be throwing that up in the chat. But yeah, we made a React boilerplate to showcase how you can leverage these machine learning APIs without any ML knowledge straight from the front end.
Can we see some of those demos later today?
I'm pretty sure they're going to be in some of the sessions
pretty
later.
sure, are you?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Shameless plug. I have a session at 1:15 for anyone who is here in person, where I will walk through a number of those different demos and services.
Rob,
case-
did you have a shameless plug? We all just did it. It's your turn.
I don't have a shameless plug, but I think the question that you asked about what won't change in IT is really interesting. I wanted to weigh in on that. And I think that just like Jeff's answer actually went deeper than that. He said, customers are always going to want things to be delivered more quickly. You can't imagine a world where customers say, yeah, I want to pay more money for that, or I want that delivery to take even longer to get to me. And I think there are some similar concepts in IT. Customers, end users of applications, of software, are always going to want really responsive, snappy applications, ones that take up very low amounts of memory, they download quickly, they install quickly, and they just work. And they work on whatever platform that they're using it on.
Yep.
And the way that connects with us at AWS is that we make significant infrastructure into building out our network backbone and our CDN. And Randall, I know this is an area where you have a lot of interest. Maybe you want to talk about some of the announcements we made at reInvent and some of the work that we're doing in that area?
Well, one of the things that I've enjoyed seeing is the growth of our regions and the growth of our points of presence. So
And of our teams.
and the growth of our team. I have to say, having an America evangelism team is so wonderful because I don't have to fly to every single event anymore. And oh, thank you guys so much. But the growth of the regions, the growth of the points of presence, and all of this is impressive. It really expands the reach of the cloud. And then you have things that enable you to get to those regions faster with Transit Gateway, with the Global Accelerator.
Yep.
And then you have things that make it easier for customers to integrate all of their different route points and direct connections
VPCs.
and VPCs and so adding Private Link, adding Transit Gateway, adding all of this stuff together,
Direct
that core
Connect.
infrastructure investment, you'd think we wouldn't still be making core infrastructure investments, but I'm finding we haven't stopped innovating. We haven't stopped investing in literally every layer of the stack, from the API services, the machine learning powered ones, to QuickSight for visualization, all the way down to things like the networking cables that we use in Australia, where they have a special termite that can shoo away the cable. So we have to make a new cable in Australia for that. I mean, it's amazing. Every single layer of the stack is seeing continuous investment.
Agree. It's really incredible what AWS is doing. Hopefully you guys will tune in to the sessions that we'll be doing at the Launchpad to cover all the launches and everything happening at the Santa Clara Summit. We're signing off for now, but we'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.